In September of 2024, the Einstein Papers Project released something that had been hidden for almost a century. A notebook. Just one notebook. But what was inside it could have changed everything. For 70 long years. This notebook sat locked away in the archives. No one spoke about it. No textbook mentioned it. No documentary ever showed it. And now, you're about to find out why. Albert Einstein wasn't just the genius physicist they taught you about in school. He was something far more disturbing to the scientific establishment. He was a man on the verge of proving something that threatened the entire materialist view of the universe, and they couldn't let that happen. What I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes comes directly from the archives of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, where 55,000 of Einstein's documents are stored. It comes from the Einstein Papers Project at Caltech, the institution that has just published volume 17 of the complete collection of Einstein's works. And it comes from manuscripts that Einstein wrote, but never published, theories he developed, and then withdrew, ideas that he abandoned under pressure. If you're watching this, you're not like most people. You sense that something is off with the official version. You seek the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And the truth about Einstein is far more unsettling than you ever imagined. Let's start with what everyone thinks they know. Einstein published the theory of special relativity in 1905. Then, the theory of general relativity in 1915. He won the Nobel Prize in 1921 and died in 1955 at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy of worldwide recognized genius. That's the official story. Clean, organized, convenient. But it's missing a crucial part. The last 30 years of Einstein's life. What was he doing from 1925 to 1955? The answer is disturbing. Einstein spent 3 whole decades working on something the scientific community pretended didn't exist. The unified field theory. A theory that would unite all of physics. So into a single equation. A theory that, if proven, would irreversibly change our understanding of reality. And he never managed to publish the final version. Or rather, they never allowed him to publish it. Volume 17 of the Einstein Papers Project, published in September 2024, reveals something that researchers knew but kept silent. Einstein had a secret notebook where he developed a theory called teleparallelism. According to Diana Kormos-Buchwald, director of the project, a welcome find was a notebook containing ideas and elaborations of the teleparallel theory, documenting many doubts and false starts. But it helped us put together several fragments and drafts of an article he intended to publish, but didn't. Why? Because Einstein withdrew the manuscript. After correspondence with the French mathematician Élie Cartan, the official version says he withdrew it to revise, but the article was never published in its complete form. Einstein abandoned the teleparallel theory after that, simply abandoned it, but hold on, because that's not all. In 2014, researchers discovered something even more disturbing in Einstein's archives, a manuscript from 1931 that was hidden in plain sight, misclassified as a draft of another article. This manuscript revealed that Einstein had developed an alternative theory to the Big Bang. You read that right. Einstein, in 1931, proposed a theory where the universe expanded constantly and eternally, no beginning, no creation. A theory that directly challenged the religious interpretation of the origin of the universe. When Scientific American published the discovery, the scientific world was in shock. Why hadn't anyone found this before? The answer is simple. No one was looking. Or maybe someone did find it and decided it was better to keep it quiet. Einstein abandoned this theory quickly, officially because he found mathematical flaws. But it's interesting to note that this same theory was proposed by the British astrophysicist Fred Hoyle almost 20 years later, and Hoyle was ridiculed for it. Coincidence? You be the judge. But what I really want you to understand is this. Einstein had theories that were never published. Some were withdrawn by himself. Others were misclassified. And many are still hidden in the 55,000 documents in the archives of Jerusalem. Documents that no one has bothered to analyze completely. In 2019, the Hebrew University announced that it had acquired a magnificent collection of Einstein's manuscripts, 110 pages of handwritten equations and personal letters. The bulk of the collection consists of yellowed pages of handwritten equations, the university representative said, equations that no one has yet deciphered completely. And here's the point that most people ignore. Einstein wasn't just a physicist, he was a philosopher, a thinker who questioned the nature of reality on levels that modern physics prefers to ignore. In private letters that were only revealed decades after his death, Einstein wrote about the relationship between consciousness and matter, about the nature of time, about the possibility that physical reality is just an illusion, ideas that, if published at the time, would have destroyed his scientific reputation. The FBI kept a file of 1,427 pages on Einstein. They started watching him in December 1932 and continued until his death in 1955. The official version says the FBI was concerned about Einstein's political positions regarding atomic energy, but 1,427 pages for a physicist. What exactly did Einstein know that justified that level of surveillance? I'm not saying there's a grand conspiracy to hide Einstein's discoveries. What I'm saying is more subtle and perhaps more disturbing. I'm saying that the scientific system has mechanisms of self-censorship. Theories that threaten the consensus are ignored. Researchers who question too much are marginalized. And geniuses like Einstein quickly learn what they can and cannot say publicly. Einstein knew how to play the game. He published what was accepted and kept the rest in notebooks that would remain hidden for 70 years. Now, these notebooks are being opened, and what they're finding confirms what some suspected. Einstein was working on something much bigger than physics equations. The Washington manuscript is one of the most curious documents ever found in Einstein's archives. Written in 1938, this manuscript carries a simple title: Unified Field Theory. It's the only document of Einstein's, published or unpublished, that carries that specific title. Researchers at Caltech analyzed this manuscript and published their findings in 2021. What they found is revelatory. The notebook was apparently never intended for publication. Einstein wrote a complete unified field theory and decided not to publish it. Why? The official explanation is that he wasn't satisfied with the results, that he found mathematical flaws, that he needed more time. But Einstein had 17 years of life remaining when he wrote this notebook. From 1938 to 1955, 17 years to revise, correct, complete. And even then, he never published it. What was in that notebook that Einstein preferred to keep hidden? The researchers at Caltech wrote. The manuscript sheds light both on Einstein's modus operandi and on the public role of his later work on a unified field theory of gravitation and electromagnetism. Translating, Einstein had a way of working that wasn't entirely public. He developed theories in private, tested ideas in secret notebooks, and only published what he considered safe for the scientific establishment to accept. But this raises a disturbing question. If Einstein only published what was safe, how much remained hidden in the notebooks? The Einstein archives contain a considerable collection of calculations in the form of worksheets and scratch paper, documenting Einstein's scientific concerns during the last 3 decades of his life. 3 decades of calculations, of theories, of ideas that never saw the light of day. And only now, 70 years after his death, researchers are beginning to analyze this material seriously. Do you realize what this means? For 70 years, the world has believed it knew Einstein. We celebrate E equals mc squared. We teach relativity in schools. We've built a myth around the genius with the messy hair. But no one bothered to read what he actually wrote in his last 30 years of life, and when they finally started to read, they discovered things that no one expected. In 1927, Einstein developed a theory of hidden variables that was never published. This theory was discovered by researchers and analyzed in a 1996 article in the journal Studies in History and Philosophy of Modern Physics, Hidden Variables. The name itself suggests something that was kept secret. This theory proposed that quantum mechanics was incomplete, that there were variables hidden behind the apparent randomness of the quantum world, that the universe was more deterministic than quantum physicists wanted to believe. Einstein developed this theory in 1927, the same year as the famous Solvay conference, where he debated with Niels Bohr about the nature of quantum reality. The official story was, Einstein lost, Bohr won. The Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics became dominant. But Einstein had an alternative theory, a theory that he never published. Why didn't he publish it? The official answer is that he couldn't complete the math. But researchers who analyzed the manuscript found a surprisingly sophisticated theory. Not perfect, but much more complete than previously imagined. Einstein had an alternative to the Copenhagen interpretation, and he chose to keep it to himself. Coincidence or strategy? I'm going to tell you something that most videos about Einstein never mention. Einstein wasn't a lone rebel fighting against the establishment. He was part of the establishment. He knew how the game worked. He knew that certain ideas were acceptable and others were not. And he learned the hard way what happened when you challenged the consensus too much. In 1939, Einstein signed the famous letter to President Roosevelt, alerting him to the possibility of an atomic bomb. That letter led to the Manhattan Project. After the war, Einstein became an advocate for nuclear disarmament, and it was at that moment that the FBI intensified its surveillance. 1,427 pages of files. Was Einstein being watched because he was a political risk, or because he knew something he wasn't supposed to know? The FBI files on Einstein were partially released through the Freedom of Information Act. But many pages are still censored. What was in those pages that we still can't see? You might think I'm exaggerating, that I'm seeing conspiracy where there is only bureaucracy. But consider this. Einstein died on April 18, 1955. In the hours following his death, something strange happened. The pathologist who performed the autopsy, Thomas Harvey, removed Einstein's brain without authorization from the family. He simply took it and took it away. Why would someone do that? The official explanation is that Harvey wanted to study what made Einstein a genius. But he had no authorization. He had no proper equipment. And he ended up storing the brain in glass jars for decades. Parts of Einstein's brain were lost. Others were cut into pieces and distributed to researchers around the world. Does that sound like normal scientific procedure to you? Or does it sound like someone was desperate to find something in Einstein's brain? I don't have definitive answers. No one does. But the questions are disturbing. And the questions become even more disturbing when we look at what Einstein was working on in the last days of his life. The night before his death, Einstein asked for his notebooks of calculations. He wanted to continue working on his unified field theory. Even dying, Einstein couldn't stop working on this theory. What was it about it that was so important? The notebooks that Einstein used in the last days of his life are in the archives in Jerusalem. Researchers have access to them. But to this day, no complete analysis has been published. It's 2025, 70 years later, and we still don't know exactly what Einstein was calculating when he died. Doesn't that seem strange to you? The greatest genius of the 20th century, his last calculations. And no one has managed to decipher them completely, or no one wanted to. Now I'm going to reveal something that connects it all. Einstein's unified field theory wasn't just physics. It had profound philosophical implications. If Einstein managed to unify gravitation and electromagnetism, he would have proven that the universe is fundamentally interconnected, that everything is linked to everything. that the separation we see between objects is just an illusion. Does that sound familiar? Eastern mystics have been saying the same thing for thousands of years. Vedic texts, Buddhists, Taoists, they all speak of a fundamental unity behind the apparent diversity. Einstein knew this. In private letters, he wrote about cosmic mysticism, about an intelligence that permeates the universe, about something bigger than mechanistic physics could explain. But he never said it publicly. Why risk his scientific reputation? In 1954, just a year before his death, Einstein penned a letter that wasn't revealed to the public until 2008. In it, he delved into the realms of God, religion, and the very nature of reality. The letter fetched over $2 million at auction, and what Einstein wrote, well, it shocked a lot of people. He rejected the personal God of traditional religions, but he wasn't an atheist. He believed in something he called a superior intelligence, manifested in the structure of the universe. An intelligence that conventional physics simply can't explain. What if the unified field theory was the bridge between physics and this superior intelligence? What if Einstein was working on something that transcended materialistic science? That would explain so much. It would explain why he never published his most advanced work, why he kept secret notebooks, why the scientific community preferred to ignore his last 30 years of research. 20th century physics split into two camps. On one side, quantum mechanics, with its randomness and uncertainty. On the other, relativity, with its elegant geometry of space-time. Einstein never accepted this division. He believed there was a deeper theory that united everything, and he spent 3 decades trying to find it. The official version, he failed. That the unified field theory was a dead end. That Einstein wasted his time on an impossible quest. But what if that version is wrong? What if Einstein found something? What if the notebooks now being analyzed contain clues that modern physics still can't understand? Volume 17 of the Einstein Papers Project is just the beginning. There's still a mountain of unanalyzed material, tons of untranslated manuscripts, calculations that no one has deciphered. And each new revelation challenges the official narrative. The notebook on teleparallelism, for example, the theory Einstein abandoned. Researchers at Stanford are discovering that this theory was far more sophisticated than anyone thought, that Einstein was on the right track, that he might have given up prematurely. Why did he abandon it? His correspondence with Ely Cartan suggests Einstein encountered mathematical roadblocks, but it also hints at something more. Einstein was being pressured. The scientific community had chosen quantum mechanics as the path forward. The unified field theory was seen as outdated, the dream of an aging genius who couldn't accept new ideas. Einstein continued working in private, but he stopped publishing. Self-censorship, the silent mechanism that keeps the scientific consensus intact. You've just uncovered what was in Einstein's secret notebooks, theories that were shelved, manuscripts that were hidden, ideas that challenged the scientific consensus. This information was locked away for 70 years, and it's only now being revealed to the public. When you click the Super Thanks button, you're not just supporting a channel, you're saying that truth matters, that knowledge shouldn't be suppressed, that you're part of the group of people searching to understand what really happened. It's not payment, it's positioning. You chose to know. Now let me tell you what all this means. For you, Einstein spent his entire life searching for a theory that unified everything, an equation that explained the entire universe, a fundamental truth behind all the complexity. He didn't find that theory, or at least, he didn't publish it. But what he found in the notebooks suggests he was closer than anyone imagined. The theory of teleparallelism, for example. Modern researchers at MIT are revisiting this theory. Some are finding connections to current particle physics, to string theory, to modern attempts at unification. Einstein was 70 years ahead of his time, and no one knew because the notebooks were hidden. This leads me to an important reflection. How much knowledge is locked away in archives that no one bothers to analyze? How many revolutionary theories are misclassified, like the manuscript of the alternative Big Bang, that remained hidden for 80 years? How many geniuses had their best ideas suppressed for fear of challenging the consensus? Einstein was the most famous physicist in the world. If he practiced self-censorship, imagine the others. The science we know is only the science that was allowed, the science that passed through the filter of consensus, the science that didn't threaten established institutions too much. Einstein knew this, and he played the game. He published what he could publish. He kept the rest hidden, and he left the notebooks in so that one day someone would find them. That day has arrived. In 2024, the Einstein Papers Project began to reveal what was hidden, and each new revelation confirms that Einstein was much more than we were taught. He wasn't just the physicist of relativity. He was a thinker who questioned the nature of reality, a philosopher disguised as a scientist, a mystic who used equations instead of prayers, and his deepest ideas were never published, until now. The coming years will be revealing. The Einstein Papers Project has more volumes planned, more manuscripts to analyze, more notebooks to decipher, and each new discovery will challenge what we thought we knew about Einstein. The question is, will official science accept these discoveries, or will it continue pretending that Einstein's last 30 years never existed? History shows that scientific consensus is slow to change. Revolutionary theories take decades to be accepted. Geniuses are often ridiculed before they're celebrated. Einstein knows this better than anyone. He himself was rejected early in his career. Maybe he left the notebooks hidden on purpose. Maybe he knew the world wasn't ready, that his most advanced ideas needed time to be understood. 70 years later, that time has come, and you are among the first to know. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe that Einstein discovered things they never wanted us to know? Do you think there's a filter that decides which scientific theories are published and which are suppressed? Comment truth if you think Einstein knew more than he revealed. Comment hype if you think I'm seeing conspiracy where it doesn't exist. And tell me, have you ever had the feeling that something was off with what you were taught in school? That the official version of history didn't make sense? Share in the comments. I read them all and respond within the first 2 hours. And if you know someone who admires Einstein, someone who questions official science, someone who seeks the truth beyond the consensus, share this video, because the knowledge that was suppressed for 70 years is finally being revealed. And you deserve to know, Einstein's notebooks are open. The theories he never published are now being analyzed. And what's being found confirms what some have always suspected. Einstein was far more than just a physicist. He was a guardian of secrets. And now, 70 years later, those secrets are finally coming to light. There's one last thing I need to tell you before we wrap this up. In 2012, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem digitized Einstein's archives and began making them available online. Initially, 2,000 documents were released. 2,000 out of 55,000, less than 4% of the total. And even then, the discoveries were astounding. Love letters, political correspondence, and scientific manuscripts that no one had ever seen before. If 4% has already revealed this much, imagine what's in the other 96%. The Einstein Papers Project is working methodically to analyze and publish all of this material, but the pace is slow. Volume 17 covers only the years 1929 to 1930. There are still 25 years of material missing, from 1930 to 1955, the most mysterious years of Einstein's life. The years when he worked obsessively on the unified field theory, the years of the secret notebooks. How long will it take for them to analyze everything? Another 20 years, okay? 30. And what will they find? When they finally look at Einstein's last calculations, no one knows. But the clues we have suggest something extraordinary. Einstein never gave up on the unified field theory. He continued working on it until the very last day of his life. The notebooks show that he was getting closer and closer to something. The question is, closer to what? A theory that unifies all of physics, an equation that explains the entire universe, or something even greater. Einstein believed that the universe had a fundamental order, a profound logic that the human mind could comprehend, a mathematical beauty that revealed the true nature of reality. He spent his life searching for that order, and the notebook suggests that he may have found something he chose not to publish, something that remained hidden for 70 years, something that now, finally, is starting to be revealed. Official science will take time to process these discoveries. Institutions are slow. Consensuses are hard to change. Revolutionary theories face resistance. But you don't have to wait for official science. You can start questioning now, seeking information, thinking for yourself. And maybe, one day, when Einstein's unified field theory is finally understood, you can say, "I knew it. I always knew there was something more." Because you're different. You don't accept the official version without questioning it. You seek the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's exactly what Einstein would do. The notebooks are open. The secrets are being revealed. And Einstein's story is being rewritten. Are you ready to discover what they've hidden for 70 years? Because the truth is finally coming to light.